It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the medium-large sports network. My name is Jeff Spiegel. On a very fitting night, my microphone stopped working literally as the intro video was coming to a close. Based on Anthony's smile, people can hear me. So that's a good start, Anthony. That's the only good thing I think that's happened to me in the last few hours.
We're doing all right so far. I let the chat know that your computer was restarting and we would be on as soon as it was done. And I saw someone make a comment that your computer was tired of talking about this team.
And who could blame him?
Yeah.
Who could blame him if my computer was? So I apologize if the sound is off. I'm going to try and fix this on the fly as we go. But as of now, we're going through God knows what microphones. The Dodgers lose this one 9-7 to the Padres. Excuse me, the Pirates. Thank goodness it wasn't the Padres, although not like it really matters. Clayton Kershaw, terrible in the first inning with a little bit of bad luck mixed in. Then awesome for 4 innings. And then basically everybody that came out of the bullpen, it seemed like was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Kopech ends up charged with a run. Enriquez charged with 3 runs. Yates charged with another run. And it felt like, Anthony, the Pirates were just like a half a step ahead of the Dodgers at all times. Every time the Dodgers crawled back in, it was like they'd go down 3 and then they'd cut it to 2 and then it'd be 3 again. This game was frustrating in every sense of the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it was one of those games where the offense comes alive and showed fight, right? They get down 4 runs early in the game and fight back to tie it. And it just seemed like at that point, anytime a reliever came in, it was like, all right, well, how much are we going to have to chase now? And even up until the end there, if guys could just limit some of that damage, stop some of that bleeding, it might have been a different night. But they were all like incredibly bad, and the walks just absolutely killed their chances.
Yeah, I'm with you. Microphone, I think, back working. So if you can hear me, then we're in good shape here. These were the 2 stats, Anthony, that jumped out to me. And I don't, you tell me which one of these is more insane to you. The Dodgers at one point had issued 6 walks, and 4 of those guys ended up coming around to score. I'm not sure if that number increased as the night went on. They ended up with 8 walks. So 6 walks, 4 came around to score. I'm not sure if the walk was who came around to score against Yates. But then 9 Pirates reached base after getting to 2 strikes in the count. That to me is a bonkers number as pitch. And you and I have talked about this, right? Because the 2 guys that struggled the most pitching wise for the Dodgers were Clayton Kershaw and Edgardo Enriquez. And the knock against both of those guys is can't put anybody away. Struggle to get the final strikeout. Of course, Kershaw ends up with a few strikeouts, but this is why, right? If you get a guy to 2 strikes and can't put them away, it will come back to kill you at some point. Tonight, unfortunately, was that night.
Yeah, we've been talking about this a lot as of late, and why strikeout rate and swing and miss ability is going to matter. And I think with Kershaw tonight, you saw some of that, and the rest of the guys too. Like you saw what it can mean when you can't get those whiffs. To me, it's that stat that is a little bit more jarring. Look, you walk 8 guys, some of those dudes are going to come around to score. I mean, that's just way too many. But giving up those base runners with 0-2 counts or 2 strike counts, kind of inexcusable for a pitching staff.
Yeah. By the way, it was 5 guys who walked ended up coming around to score, because the guy who Yates walks steals second and then comes around to score on the single. So 8 walks, 5 of those come around to score is insane. And again, 9 batters that faced 2 strikes and reached. They didn't get 9 batters to 2 strikes all game. 9 guys got to 2 strikes and then either walked or got a hit at some point. So bad numbers there for the Dodgers. Lots to get to tonight. We're going to talk about this game. Of course, Shohei Ohtani, some records being broken by him. What's new? We've also got a Max Muncy update, a Roki Sasaki update, Ha-Seong Kim and Michael Kopech up with the Dodgers. So Anthony's going to be with us for about the first 45 minutes of the show. Matthew Moreno is going to join me, I believe, for the last 10 to 15. And then we're going to be hard out here at about 7:40 Pacific. Let's get to some of these super chats, though. 300 says walks, 2 strike hits, and God, that outfield defense. Wild card it is. Just hope we're getting home field for it. Not a pretty day for the outfield defense, Anthony. In the first inning, Tommy Pham hit a ball that had an expected batting average of 100. Now, that doesn't adjust for where Teoscar Hernandez was playing. Right. That is simply based on exit velocity and launch angle. And yet when you watch the route that Teoscar Hernandez took to get to this ball, 3 steps sideways, 4 steps forward, 3 steps sideways, 4 steps. I mean, he's running an S to the ball and makes an effort. I said at least he was trying on that one. Doesn't get there. 2-run score.
That was just him being a bad outfielder. It wasn't the lack of hustle that we've seen in the past.
Exactly. That's perfectly put, Anthony. Conforto has a ball later in that same inning that he dove for. I didn't see how big of a run-up he got. He didn't really have a chance to catch that ball. I appreciated the effort. Didn't matter. And then Pages in the 9th inning ends up not mattering all that much. But the final run that scores is a ball that he slides, completely catches, and as he is basically finishing his slide, the ball pops out of his glove. So all 3 guys let him down. There was a ball in the gap between Conforto and Pages that I thought Oral did a great job of describing how one of those guys is supposed to take the short route to the ball and the other guy is supposed to back up. They both took the short route to the ball and it got past both of them. So it was a mess. You know what you're signing up for with Conforto and Teoscar. And again, tonight was a perfect example of why that's terrifying.
Yeah, definitely. And it's why one good piece being stuck back in the outfield can solve a lot of defensive issues with this club. It's because it's a domino effect, right? Not to mention that more likely than not, it gets Conforto out of the lineup more often.
Yeah.
And so, it's just going to improve things kind of across the board. So we have that to look forward to. But tonight, we saw about the worst of it from an ability standpoint, right? Like at least it wasn't a Teoscar Hernandez sort of jogging to the ball that, then we have to wonder if he could have caught it or whatever. Like it was just, he's not a great outfielder. And we saw that in the first inning for sure.
Noah says Conforto, not Kim. # Dave hates Kim. I have been known around these parts as a Ha-Seong Kim hater, which is not fair and not accurate. I do not hate Ha-Seong Kim. I root for Ha-Seong Kim. I've simply pointed out that we're back to kind of the Ryan Ward conversation, I think, which is anybody must be better than Michael Conforto. The face now is Ha-Seong Kim. He is back and up with the Dodgers. Ha-Seong Kim, there's 2 numbers. And the question that every Dodgers fan, I think, has to grapple with is the season-long numbers for Ha-Seong Kim, which are 304 batting average, 338 on base, 406 slug, a 109 weighted runs created plus. That's the totality of 146 plate appearances. The other number is the last month prior to him getting hurt, which is July 1st through July 28th, 60 plate appearances. He hit 193 with a 207 on base, a 211 slug, a 41% strikeout rate, and a weighted runs created plus of 13. So my question to you, Anthony, is which of those 2 do you think is more representative? And obviously the answer is neither. It's in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But like in the middle, are you closer to, like, are we talking about a guy that's going to be able to hit above 240 in your estimation? Or is this a guy who's going to be hitting in the low 200s with a crazy strikeout rate?
Yeah, the strikeout thing, we'll see. I think for me, the jury's still out on that. But in terms of like a guy who can get on base and what that batting average looks like, I would suspect it's probably around that 240-ish range right now with the potential to be like 250, 260, depending on how much contact he can make. I think that's worth some there because of his speed.
Yeah.
So I guess technically he's probably closer to the success he's had than the sub 200 hitter he was.
Yeah.
I think part of that too, he was probably playing a little bit hurt when that slump was going on. But no, I don't think he's like an all-star caliber offensive player at this point.
But the bar's low.
Yeah, the bar's low. Yeah, but I do think he's better than the bad stretch that we saw.
If you were asked by Dave Roberts, would you say Conforto, I've seen enough, put Kim in left field? Keeping in mind that Kim has played minimal amounts of left field, but again, the bar is not high out there defensively either.
Correct. I would play Kim at this point. And at least Conforto sort of fits a pinch hitter. I wouldn't want to say specialist, but a pinch hitter role type where like there's a little pop that exists in the bat, and maybe he runs into one every now and then. Maybe he gives you a pretty good at bat and can draw a walk, and then you throw in a pinch runner for him or something like that. He has that sort of profile, because right now the profile is not as an everyday left fielder. So yeah, I would definitely start playing Kim at this point.
Conforto is in full-on pray for a walk mode, which not a great spot to be. Jonathan says Ohtani sets new record, hits 120-mile-an-hour home run as the Dodgers lose 9-7. OMG, we're the Angels now. I got no notes on this, Jonathan.
That's great.
Ohtani, by the way, did hit a ball 120 miles an hour tonight. It was the hardest hit ball of his career. It was the 100th home run as a Dodger. He set the record for fastest guy to 100 home runs as a Dodger. And as Jonathan pointed out, kind of didn't matter because the Dodgers end up losing. Bacon Tree, in what world are we still playing Conforto? This BP bullpen giving up 9 runs to the Pirates is embarrassing. You got a gift yesterday and couldn't capitalize. Padres losing yesterday, I'm imagining, is what the gift is. Bullpen ends up giving up 5 runs. Kershaw gives up 4. Look, we've been critical of the offense tonight. I guess it's a slightly different story, at least, because the offense scored 7, even though you look at the box score and somehow 7 feels disappointing with the number of guys that felt like they left on base. The Dodgers finished this game 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. So they leave some guys out there, but again, you score 7 runs. Yeah, that's not your fault.
That's an interesting number that they were so bad with runners in scoring position. They had a pretty good amount of extra base hits, though.
Yeah.
Anytime you score 6, 7, 8 runs, you're going to end up leaving a lot of guys on base. But typically, you see that runners in scoring position number be a little bit better. It doesn't matter. Look, you score 6, 7 runs, you should win the ball game. And I kind of don't even care what team you are. Even if you're a bad team, considering what this pitching staff is and what it could be, and what we've seen actually recently, this is a game you full on expect to win. And the fact that they just continue to put the offense in a hole was frustrating is too light of a word.
Yeah, absolutely. We have got an early appearance by our guy, Matthew Moreno, hopping in with us. He just couldn't wait. He's like, forget 45 minutes. I need to get in there and talk Dodgers baseball after the game I just watched. Right, Matt?
Absolutely. I know privately I've been talking to you guys about some potential early plans in October, and each day that passes, I keep warning you guys. I won't go public with it yet. I'll wait. I'll wait to fill in the people of what's on the calendar and when.
You too embarrassed to admit to the people what's on your calendar in early August?
I'm not embarrassed. No, I'm not embarrassed by it at all. Just I still see, like, as I was getting ready to join you guys and listening to it, like, Anthony, like this, it's frustrating. Like this can't happen, right? Like, and we've seen it too many times. The flip side, and the flip side is, part of me feels like, although offense wasn't the issue tonight, like broadly speaking, not just looking at tonight's loss, but sort of just the stretch that they've been in. Like we've seen the difference with Max Muncy, without Max Muncy.
Yeah.
So the team looks a lot different, but again, like that doesn't necessarily solve tonight, because what more, like, sure, if Muncy's in the lineup, maybe I guess they score 10 runs, 11 runs type thing. And it's like, well, does the pitching still hold up? Like, I don't know, man. I've kind of not hinted at it, but sort of, put out there in the last few shows. I think I might've brought it up on the Heaney one we did. Like, the Dodgers are just inconsistent. Like, this is the team that they are at this point. And are they capable of going on a crazy run in October? Yes, like the talent is still there, but the more we see of like the stop and go, like the less, and I don't blame people, like the less believable, or the less, faith I think you have in them of flipping the proverbial switch that Dave Roberts has been discussing the last few weeks.
Yeah, no, I look, I'm optimistic. I remain hopeful that when Muncy comes back, I mean, if he ever comes back at this point, Edman comes back, and some of these bullpen guys get a few more reps under their belts, that the one thing, Anthony, I am holding on to is there is still a real chance that the team we see in game 1 of the postseason, regardless of what round that is not the team we just watched play today. And that's why I have hope. Like, if we were sitting here and Muncy was already playing and had been back for a week, and Edman had been back for a week, and it still looked like this, I wouldn't really have much to hold on to. But I do feel like now I've still got, okay, if Muncy and Edman are in the lineup, like how many big spots is Conforto coming up in still? None, because he's not in the lineup, right? Like how many big spots is Alex Freeland coming up in? Or move down the line. Some of those 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, it's just more opportunities for guys that I trust. So I'm still holding on hope to that, Anthony. I don't know if I'm just blind optimism at this point.
I mean, I think that's fair. Those guys are like Muncy's a huge upgrade for, offensively for like, let's say,
he would have been replacing Freeland in today's lineup. And then Edman would have replaced Conforto.
Yeah. But like on the days of like, say Freeland plays second base, like it's still a huge upgrade from like Miguel Rojas or whoever would have been in the infield. Otherwise, I'm not allowed.
I'm not allowed to have any disrespect of Miguel Rojas on this show. I've already apologized to the man, so I've now become a little bit of protector of this space. And out of respect for Matt was going to jump in. I'm just going to beat.
There's a little hypersensitivity here. I no disrespect to Rojas, but Max Muncy is a better offensive player.
It's true.
But yes, I understand the sentiments. I just continue to hang on to the fact that I continue to hang on to the hope that this starting rotation is going to get through this month healthy.
Yeah.
2, if that happens, they're the best starting rotation in the playoffs on either side of the map.
Yeah.
Does that win you a World Series? Not if you cannot hold down games at the back end of your bullpen, and not if twice a series you're going to score 0 to 1 run.
Yeah.
But I think that rotation healthy gives them more than a puncher's chance to win it all.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. For all the people that are pissed that the Dodgers didn't do more at the trade deadline right now, like what all of you are implicitly saying is, I wish the Dodgers would have gone out and replaced some of their crappy players with much better players. The Dodgers are going to do exactly that in the next couple of weeks at some point when Max Muncy and Tommy Edman come back. Like, you can pretend like they went out and got Max Muncy and Tommy Edman at the trade deadline, because that's the impact it's going to have on the roster. So for me, Matt, like, everybody's pissed about the deadline. The Dodgers are about to have a post-deadline infusion of talent. I would also point out, if things go right, Clayton Kershaw is not starting a postseason game. Whether Edgardo Enriquez is in pitching big moments remains to be seen. Kirby Yates, unlikely to be pitching in those games. So I do think in this game in particular, there's a lot of names I'm looking at and saying, well, that guy's not going to be on the postseason roster, and that guy's not going to be on the postseason roster, and that guy's not going to be in a big spot.
Yeah, I see that, and Muncy is a big piece. Like I said, we've seen, his impact when he came back from the bone bruise in his knee, and he was, hit the ground running right away. Like, it was impressive how well he was doing so quickly. And then we've seen the Dodgers again now without him for a little bit of an extended stretch. Like, they are a different team. Like, whether it's literally replacing X player in the lineup or just lengthening out, however you want to look at it, like, they are a different team. So I do understand that sentiment. I don't know, like, what concerns me, and some of the, Anthony, like you and Jeff went over this in the Sunday night show of, the things to watch in the second half. Like, sure, Muncy being back is going to help. Edman, if he's healthy, maybe he hasn't. I would imagine this is the healthiest he's going to be than we've seen him all season. So maybe he improves, right? Because I mean, it's not like he was tearing the cover off the ball, Jet. Like, I mean, you had your bold prediction that you were wearing for a little bit, and then you took a victory lap on. And
nobody's taking a victory lap yet. Okay, nobody. I don't even like taking a victory lap, because if I'm right, it means he's not good. I hope I'm wrong.
Fair.
Even when he was bad, though, before I think the ankle really sapped some of that base, because even when he was bad in the other areas, he was still running into enough balls that he became a valuable offensive player. Because I mean, he had 10 home runs to the first couple of months or whatever it was, something like that. So he was an offensive contributor, even if like some of the other numbers were down before the
league average is an upgrade. Like, if he could be league average. Totally. That's a 30-point weighted runs created plus increase over what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and all that is fair. What's still then, like, the counter to this is, like, are they going to be sound fundamentally? Like, we still have seen like a lot of things have kind of gone wrong for the Dodgers. It's not just been like, oh, they haven't been healthy, they just need to get healthy, and once they get there, then everything clicks. Like, yes, there is something to that, but are they going to, like, bench Teoscar Hernandez again? Are they going to maybe move him to left field? Like, perhaps, but indications so far, at least publicly, have been like, That's not necessarily, what they're planning on doing. I don't know how much of Tommy Edman you guys have gotten into so far tonight, but with him coming back and looking like maybe he's going to be a primary factor in center field, like where does Pages go? Like do they just put him in left field because Teoscar is comfortable in right, or do they rearrange things? Like
Teoscar ain't comfortable anywhere.
Well, I mean, if you ask Teoscar, he's comfortable in right. He will play anywhere, but right field is his most comfortable position. Is what.
That's why I'm not interested in asking Teoscar, because look, Moreno, there's one thing you and me could stack hands on. It's the eye test of where Teoscar feels comfortable in the field, and he could. There ain't a number out there that's going to change my mind about whether or not he's comfortable in right field. And again, I think he's going to stink in left field. All these people that think that's going to solve every problem, we've been over it. He's terrible out there too, but it gets its one terrible corner outfielder instead of two is the upgrade. And I think your point about fundamentals, though, to just circle back, is a good one, because people like me saying, hey, Muncy's going to come back, Edman's going to come back, the bullpen's going to improve, all fair. That doesn't solve every single problem. That might solve half of the problems that we've seen from this group. Like the offense, I think, will be more consistent and will be better. The defense might be better in the outfield. Like Muncy's probably a downgrade over Freeland and Rojas at third base, even if he's fine. And I do think that kind of the fundamental stuff that we've talked about, which I think, Anthony, includes the fact that the pitching staff can't throw freaking strikes. Like we talk about fundamentals like errors in the field, but it's like the bullpen coming in and walking 4 guys in 4 innings is unacceptable. Edgardo Enriquez starts off his inning with 2 walks. That is a fundamentals thing just as much as misplaying a ball in left field, as far as I'm concerned.
100% agree. They know in that situation, especially against this team, you got to come in throwing strikes.
Yeah.
And you have to pound the zone. This is a team that the only real way they can hurt you is if you put them on base.
Yeah.
And they did that all night long. This team scored 7 runs and lost and never had the lead.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. And again, when we talk about the offense, by the way, Pages grounding into a double play with the bases is loaded and nobody else. Some people might have lost the bet because of that stupid freaking double play. But beside that, they score 7 runs. And if you want to blame the offense, I'm fine with it, because you load the bases with nobody out and then put runners on second and third and nobody out and score 2 total runs in those 2 situations. Maybe we should blame the offense. Matt, what were you going to say?
Completely off subject, so I apologize. I just want to say I see people in the chat excited with my comments because I'm aligning with them. Usually this type of support comes when I'm expressing my food takes at the end. That's when the people really get behind me. So it's happening early tonight, and I just want to let the people know that I am seeing it, and I do appreciate their support.
Way to call that out, Matthew.
Yeah, exactly. Cole says this team gives me a rash, and not in a good way. Is there a good rash? Is there this gives me a rash in a good way? I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, Cole, I want to know what kind of rash you enjoy.
No, I don't actually. It's DM those pictures to Anthony on the side, please. Dr. V says, can we just admit that whether Muncy and Edman are healthy or not, this team lacks heart and desire? 100 miles an hour means 0 if you can't throw a strike. Penn is wasting great starts. Our pen is horrible. Not a great start for my guy Kershaw tonight, but I think this is kind of what you're getting at, Matt, and what you've touched on a little bit, Anthony, as well. Like, yes, even if you want to make the case that talent is going to improve over the next 2 weeks, you still have to answer the question of this sort of the focus, the intensity, and like just the passion. I joked maybe Kershaw struggling was what we needed because the offense is like, we're not going to let our guy wear this. And it kind of worked for a little bit. And then as soon as he came out, they're like, and we're good for the rest of the night. So Anthony, we've talked briefly about this, but I think this is the question. It's not going to be, are they going to be good enough defensively? Are they going to be good enough offensively? Are they going to be good enough in the rotation in the pen? The question is simply going to be, are they going to be able to lock in for the postseason? I think.
My confidence in that is like pretty mid right now.
Okay.
Because this kind of stuff has been going on for too long. And even though it's a veteran club, like it's going to get better, right? Like just physically, it can't be worse. Like Edman, Muncy, taking out certain guys off the field. It's going to get better just because those guys are more talented defensively. Like I said, Edman is kind of the one guy, but it has a domino effect in other places. But those guys, I don't think suddenly improve everybody's focus this way.
Yeah.
And it's been too big of a problem for too long now, where I don't think that the switch just flips on. and they go, okay, now we're locked in. I'm going to have to see some of that down the stretch to believe that it's going to happen in the playoffs. Because right now, you can pay all the lip service to it that you want, but you're not showing it. And the problem with it too is like they talk about it. We got to be better. Or Dave says something about it, and then they're better for a couple of games, and then you see Little League Baseball for the next two, and it's like there's no, just like the offense, there's no consistency there. And so for me to be locked in on them being a fundamentally sound, focused club, I got to stop seeing those mishaps happen so often.
Yeah. Matt, do you think, I mean, Edman and Muncy are unique personality types in that it's veteran guys. They're kind of guys that have been around. They feel like leaders, either vocally. In the case of Muncy, I feel like he's probably a pretty vocal, like strong leader on this group. And Edman, maybe not so much because he's newer, but just like, I guess, again, I'm trying to be the optimistic one here. I don't usually have to try too hard on that. So trying is maybe the wrong word. But like, again, if I was going to say, is the mentality going to change? I'd be like, I don't know. Is there a Max Muncy and a Tommy Edman out there somewhere that we can insert in to this? Because those feel like the type of players that will help.
I think their biggest impact is going to come more from a talent standpoint rather than like vocal leadership or like rallying behind like, oh, okay, we got these guys back, now we go type thing. I don't know if it'll necessarily work out that way. I agree with Anthony. Like the more time that sort of passes, like the later we get into, I mean, September just got here, but as we start to get later into September, like I think two things can be true. One, I think it is possible that this Dodgers team is confident. They don't lack for confidence. Being around the players, hearing them speak after games, after wins, after they firmly believe, you know, kind of like get us to the postseason type thing, and we'll take our shot. Which there is merit to that, right? Like if they put together the only thing, like I said, like we've seen them put together 3 games, like they went on a 4-game winning streak recently. Fine, that's great. We haven't seen, you know, even a full week, much less 2 weeks, much less 3 weeks, much less a month, which is what you will need in October. So sure, they can get streaky and get hot, but there hasn't been very many reasons to believe that they're going to be able to do that for a full month. Yeah. And I do think that there is a little bit of a, you know, we can and will flip a switch. I would have thought that it would happen pretty much around now, considering it's the final month of the regular season. You're still in this race with the Padres for the division. You're in third place in the National League. And so you're going to start the playoffs in the wild card series the way things are standing right now. But yeah, I mean, to your, you know, kind of main question, like I think the Muncy Edman stuff would be more of like, just as you guys have alluded to, getting some of the lesser players who haven't necessarily provided much production off the field, rather than like, oh man, Max Muncy just walked in the clubhouse, we better button things up.
Right.
Yeah. This is going to be the ultimate test of self-belief, because normally in order to flip the switch, you have to have seen yourself do it to believe like, yeah, no doubt, no problem. We've done it before. Not everybody on this roster has done it before. And again, maybe they have irrational confidence in themselves to think, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we've ever put together a 22-8 stretch over the course of a month, because we're those guys. And again, if you won the World Series last year, I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't have it in you. But not all these guys were here for the World Series run. Like Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, those guys weren't a part of this group as far as on the field. Tanner Scott, those guys weren't there. And so I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying, Matt, like, not everybody has seen themselves do it. Maybe they still believe. We all know there's the heat check guy out there somewhere that believes the next shot's going in all the time. But whether or not that's reality remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up good names in Snell and Glasnow and Scott, because on one hand, yes, they haven't been there. And on the other hand, like, you are thinking, hey, those guys need to be significant contributors if the Dodgers are going to pull this off. On the other hand, look, if Ohtani, Mookie, Freeman, like if they go on crazy, Muncy, Will Smith, like if they go on crazy runs and sort of just slug their way to enough, you know, 8 to 5 wins type thing, like you can maybe get by with, you know, Glasnow, Scott, Snell not necessarily being at the top of their games all the time. I mean, I don't know. Look,
I mean, those guys not being at the top of their games, like being just okay, I still don't think they're giving up 5 runs. So I'm fine with that. Like if the offense can score 5 a night, they're going to win. Like I saw Blake in the chat earlier when I was talking about the rotation saying, hitting wins in October. It does. But if you're giving up 5 runs a game, I don't care how good your offense is, you're probably not going to win the World Series. I think that this rotation is the thing that's going to be the linchpin for all of this stuff.
Yeah. And look, the good news, Will Smith, the guy who kind of people have been down on, was going through a little bit of a slump, hits the big home run on Sunday, 3 for 5 tonight. And even the outs felt like solid contact. And so maybe there's a positive in there that a guy like Smith, who has been struggling, has himself a good night. Let's get through some of these super chats here. Salvador, I don't know if I'm more pissed at the walks or the 3 drops. Walks for me. Anthony, walks for you, right?
Walks.
Matt, walks or drops? Which one pissed you off more?
Yeah, it's the walks. I mean, the Teoscar play, like he got his glove on it. Pages should have made that one. Like the Conforto one, I know, like I guess it's been classified as a drop, but that I think was a tough play. And I know our reputation, of the stigma that we have a little bit.
My reputation. It's fine. You can say it, Matt. My reputation when it comes to Conforto.
With the Conforto stuff, but that I think was a tough play.
Lucas says, Dodgers are a mess. Have fun playing in the wild card games. I will not have fun playing in the wild card games, but they might be playing in the wild card. Aaron says, this team just isn't elite. This team isn't just elite talent underperforming. They decide to ride with bums like Conforto and Yates and are paying for it right now. Look, yes, there's no disagreeing there. I mean, Yates, I think we haven't even seen a huge sample size on the season because he's been hurt so much. But I told Anthony the other day, I'm pissed at myself for putting Yates back on the postseason roster because he came back healthy and threw 1 inning. So I'm still mad at myself for that. And look, and Conforto is playing himself off of the postseason roster and out of meaningful games in the very near future, I think. So good news, I guess, on both of those fronts. Gabriel says 4 runs from Kershaw, 5 from the bullpen, 8 total walks, bad defense, bad base running decision from Ohtani despite going 3 for 5, all-around team loss. I'm not going to nitpick Ohtani. I'm kind of fine with him going home on that and taking my chances. Freeman scored on a single on the next play anyways. So it didn't totally matter that he gets thrown out there. But the rest of this, Matt, I've got no defense. Kershaw was bad. The bullpen was bad. The walks were bad. The defense was bad. I don't know. Other than base running, I would say I agree with everything here.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, all around a rough night for the team.
When Kershaw got through 5, though, in the innings 2 through 5, he hadn't given up a hit, and they had tied the game, I thought they were going to win.
Yeah. Look, when they tied the game, I was like, oh, we're back, baby.
Yeah.
And we very much were not back. Phil says, need to stop playing Conforto. He has had enough chances of actively hurting us. Beyond over it. Yep. Fair.
I do want to point out, look, one thing, Jeff, you got into this a little bit on Sunday. In light of Dave Roberts' comments and his, kind of, I know he tried to brush it off as like he didn't necessarily bench Teoscar Hernandez, but the pause when he was asked, like, was this planned or, a result of what you had seen recently, like that spoke volumes. It's concerning. Like Teoscar Hernandez is wearing it defensively. I get that. Like he's fallen from grace with a lot of the fan base. I think he's still above Michael Conforto. If you ask, 10 people, 9 out of 10 are going to take Teoscar Hernandez at least. What's concerning and interesting is the comments that Dave Roberts said as to why Teoscar Hernandez wasn't in the lineup on Sunday and what they have seen. And then you look at like Michael Conforto's, I know that he's producing slightly better than Teoscar, whatever date that Blake had. It wasn't
June 1st, June 1st through Sunday.
So it's a substantial stretch, right? Like it's not a small sample size necessarily. So there's like merit to that. The fact of the matter is the Dodgers are convinced more so by Conforto's at bat quality than they are with Teoscar Hernandez. And to me, like that's an issue. Like that should not be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Can I ask you guys, this will be an inside baseball question. Anthony, I'll start with you. I want to ask about that Teoscar question that was asked to Dave Roberts, because it seemed, I guess my alarms went off that I was like, Teoscar's sitting out. And like somebody thought to ask that question in that spot. Like, I guess what I'm getting at, I'll just ask the direct question, Anthony. Has there ever been a situation where a manager wants to make a statement about somebody and make an example about something and somehow leads a reporter to say, hey, maybe ask me later today about why Teoscar Hernandez isn't in the lineup? It seems crazy, but it was a random day off, and then he gets asked about it, and Teoscar's been bad, so there's plenty of reason to believe it was a fair question. I'm not even judging the person who asked it. It just felt like to me like, oh, that's an interesting question, and holy crap, he got a very interesting answer to that question. So you tell me if I'm way off base on that, Anthony, but it felt like I want to make sure people notice that Teoscar is sitting out because I want him to notice and I want the team to notice and I want this to be out there.
When you get a regular that gets you come into the clubhouse or you get the lineup and you realize that regular is not in there and it had not been communicated before, like, hey, so-and-so is going to get a day off tomorrow, or like even early in the week, like, so-and-so is going to play the first 2 games of this series and then be off, something like that.
Fair.
So it's a surprise to the media. And then when they go in there, it's a natural question. Like there's a lot of column, maybe not a lot these days with newspapers, but there's stories to write. You gotta hit word counts and column inches. And so you go, hey, Teo's not playing, just a day off. What's going on? Dave was prepared for that question to be asked, and he had an answer locked and loaded because he wanted to send that message. He didn't sort of brush it off just like, oh yeah, give him a breather and, he'll be back in there. He could have said that, even if it wasn't that. He chose to not say that, and he chose to give a more in-depth sort of response to that question. He wanted Teoscar to hear it. He wanted everybody to hear it, I think. It wasn't just him, because Teoscar knew why he was not playing by that point. So Dave, this second half of the season has been as critical as Dave gets than his entire tenure here.
Yeah. And Matt, I do think you make a great point, because when the question was asked, Dave, it was like a half-second beat where he was like, are we doing this? Like, am I going to tell them the truth, or am I just going to say, so I think that was a good catch by you, because it did feel like he was like, let's do it, so.
Yeah. And to sort of expand, like Jeff, you're not completely off base by thinking like, was a question maybe planted? I think that happened in the postseason last year. This instance though with Teoscar, like I know who asked the question, and it was, as Anthony said, it was a normal thing. Like it happened with Mookie Betts when he was out of they came out of an off day, he played, and then he was out of the lineup the next night or something. Like it was weird, right? And so Dave Roberts was asked about it, and he said, no, like it's a mental break, this and that, and that became a big story, because it was like, wait a minute, they just came back from, I think, the All-Star break. Like, why does Mookie need a mental break after playing just one game type thing? So both things can be true, Jeff. Like the scenario you pitch where like is something sort of like, hey, ask me about this. That I think that does happen. I'm 99% confident that wasn't the case with Teoscar.
Okay. Phil says, need to stop playing Conforto. He's had enough chances, actively hurting us beyond over it. I might already had that one.
Yeah, that's the one we just
Cole said, send Conforto to Cancun and make him build his own raft to get there. Dr. V says, wait, Dave only plays guys based on performance. So ... Apparently it's effort first, then performance second with Dave. 300 says, what scares me is we get Skeens on Thursday. That is true. They do get Skeens on Thursday.
They've Skeens before. Right.
It's baseball. Like they're going to end up scoring 6 runs against Skeens or something. Like, and people will come tell me if I'm wrong, but like it's baseball. Like stuff happens. Like you look at it, you say, oh, you need to beat these guys because you're not going to beat the ace, and you end up beating the ace and losing to the 6 or ERA guy. Well,
and they put the graphic up. The guy they played today had like a 2.2 ERA over the last like 2.5 months. Yeah. So, it's like Lodolo the other day. What are you going to do? Dr. V, today is why Kershaw doesn't play up in the postseason. I don't know what PMW means. Sorry if that's an obvious one to anybody, but okay, cool. Nobody else gets it. Yes, we agree. This is why Anthony and I have said Glasnow over Kershaw, for sure. Noah says, is Teo's bat and glove a big part of the problem? Yes, to both of those things. We can argue about which one's a bigger problem, but the answer is both. Tim says, Sheehan had one of the best starts for any Dodger pitcher in a while. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, no runs, 2 hits, a walk, but they skipped his turn in the rotation. They had an off day, and so they were able to stick with the 6-man rotation without having to actually have 6 guys, so dudes can pitch every 6 days. Sheehan was the odd man out. As good as Sheehan was, there was not an argument to be made that Kershaw should have been skipped or Glasnow should have been skipped.
Yeah, I mean, Kershaw is arguably the league's pitcher of the month. I don't think they were going to skip him. And Sheehan before that had been sort of up and down too.
Yeah. 300. The hottest streak for this team was the first 8 games, about 500 since then. So
That's fair.
Yeah, so they proved it, baby. First 8 games, we're ready to roll. Well, they don't need to harken back
they
up.
Folded the tent up. They said, "Wake us up on October 1st."
Yeah, we've seen enough. 8 games in, baby. We're good. Jay says, "Wow, I do get what you're saying. Are you scared of any of the other playoff teams? I don't know if they can do it, but I don't exactly doubt them." Anthony, I would say this: I am like, there is not a team. Let me phrase this the right way.
Be careful.
Think when they get to the postseason, the Dodgers are going to be the most talented team. Like, I don't actually think there's another team that I'm going to look at the roster and I'm going to be like, I have no idea how the Dodgers beat this team. Like, the team the Dodgers have to worry about is the one staring back at them in the mirror and whether or not they decide to show up on any given day. That's the only team I'm worried about.
That part I agree with. I 100% am with you on that, Jeff. I don't think there's a team that is just flat out better than this team.
Good teams,
especially
sure,
when you can,
but not better.
Sure, especially when you can run out that rotation. I know I keep going there, but it matters a lot. And so if you don't believe it, go to those other teams' sites and live streams and message boards and Reddits and all of that stuff. The Brewers are getting hated on. The Padres are getting hated on. The Phillies are getting hated on. Like, I mean, everyone's a mess right now, it feels like, in the National League.
Yeah. Prove me wrong, by the way, is the translation of PMW for the record there. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I think, again, like I am my reputation is I bring balance to this show. And Jeff, to your point, two things can be true, right? Like, you look at playoff teams that are tracking right now to be in the October baseball, and is there one that, as you said, that looks head and shoulders better than the Dodgers talent wise? Like, no. The other side of that coin is, are the Dodgers going to be the team that the super chat we just got, where hey, they started off, are they going to be that 8-0 team that they were at the beginning of the season? Like, that's a huge question mark. And with each day that passes that they kind of aren't, continue to be mired in this inconsistency, like, I understand why there's more questions and belief as to, no, they're not going to necessarily, get to their full potential.
Yeah, I'm with you. By the way, if you want to go bet somebody other than the Dodgers to win the National League, they are still the favorites, plus 230 on DraftKings. The Dodgers to win the National League and make the World Series. Phillies are second at plus 310, Brewers 380, Padres 650. So the gap is closing for sure, but Dodgers still the favorites according to DraftKings. Ivan, why is Conforto batting in front of Pages? Makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, agreed. Pages is better than Conforto. Righty on the mound is the righty lefty thing is why, and Pages grounded into a double play with the bases loaded and nobody out. So what are you going to do on a night like tonight? It happens. It happens. All right. Anthony has got to run here in just a minute. So Anthony, we appreciate you hopping on with us. We will see you on Sunday. So thank you for popping in. Matt and I are going to stick around here for just a little bit and take some questions. So Anthony, enjoy the rest of your night. And
all right. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
See you, Anthony.
All right. Noah with the super chat says, bad feeling Dave gives a playoff spot to Conforto. If you had to guess right now, Matt, scale of 1 to 100, percentage chances Conforto is on a postseason roster, what number would you give it? We've kind of talked about it. Feels like it's Freeland, Ha-Seong Kim, and Michael Conforto all competing for 2 spots.
Yeah.
That assumes everybody stays healthy, by the way, from here until the end of the season as well.
Like 55%. Like, I think it's a little bit more than a coin flip.
That's probably, I was going to say like 40, but then I remembered if one guy gets injured, he's going to be a lock for the postseason roster, depending on the position, I guess. So yeah, I think 55 is the number I would go with as well. So sorry to everybody that hates that. Yeah, that hates that question there and that answer, I guess I should say. So, all right, let's jump into some questions. While we are taking questions, I'll just give a couple of news updates as those are filling in the chat. The first one is Max Muncy, if you missed it, got sick last week, which has delayed his progress in healing. So it's not a setback per se. It's just a timing setback. So still expected to go on a rehab appearance, I believe, end of this week. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah, that seems to be the new kind of timeline for him, and then possibly back when the Dodgers start their homestand at some point.
Yeah. One other piece of news that I think is just at least worth mentioning. 2 other pieces. The first is Tommy Edman started his rehab appearance, playing DH tonight for Oklahoma City. Do you play DH? I don't know how you phrase that.
Starting DH.
Will play center field exclusively when he's in the field, was the news from Dave Roberts today. So that is good news for folks like us that are hoping he's going to be healthy enough to play there. And the last one is Roki Sasaki. He ends up finishing 5 innings, which if you didn't follow this start all the way, that might be surprising to you because his first 2/3 of an inning involved 2 home runs, 4 runs, 13 balls, and 8 strikes. the fastball averaging 94.3 miles an hour. But again, he finishes 5. So it's 5 innings, 4 earned, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch. All of that damage coming in the first inning against Roki Sasaki. But again, fastball velocity, not good enough for Roki Sasaki. So, all right, let's get to some questions.
Real quick, Jeff, before you get to those, I was going to put up, we do have a request from Lieutenant Beaches who wants us to talk about food. Skip the team. I'd be happy to do that. I haven't seen Manuel in the chat, though, tonight. And I know he really loves the food questions. So, Manuel, let us know once you're in here, and then we'll completely transition to all food and leave baseball behind.
Yeah, I do. I'll give you a heads up. We've talked about kettle chip rankings lately, Matt, and also top 3 condiments. So I'll give you some time, and maybe we'll get your answer to those 3 questions as well. Back to back says, what do you attribute the losses to sub 500 teams? Is it a lack of focus? I would say a large part of this is just baseball being baseball. Like, any team can lose to any team on any given night. That said, the quantity of these that keep piling up to teams like the Angels and the Rockies and now the Pirates is concerning. We talked about focus. Is it as simple as that, you think, Matt?
I think that's some of it. I think some of it is it's a long season. I think some of it is that, like, there's been a lot of discussions now about, flipping a switch with this team. I think injuries are also a factor. I don't think it's so. Basically, it's not one thing. I do think that there is something to it. I think lack of focus, if you will, is a part of it.
Norm asks, which players and coaches are on the hot seat and might be gone in 2026 if the Dodgers wash out this year? I would be shocked if a single coach is fired by the Dodgers after this season. So I would say none to the coaches. Player-wise, you've obviously got dudes that are going to be free agents like Michael Conforto. Safe to say he will not be back. But I think Teoscar Hernandez is a hot seat candidate because I could see the Dodgers trying to find an American League team, or I shouldn't say American League. Everybody has a DH now, but a team that could use him as a DH. The Dodgers eat some of that salary and move on from him. So Teoscar feels like the guy that would be on the hot seat outside of the pending free agents. But coaching-wise, I don't think anybody's on the hot seat. Do you agree or disagree?
Probably not. I mean, I feel like if that was going to happen with the coaching staff, it would have during one of their shortcomings. I mean, look, like, it's not like the past is the past, and I get, like, baseball, like, sports are, what have you done for me lately type thing. So great, the Dodgers won the World Series last year. If this team falls short and kind of, especially, continues on the path that they're sort of headed down, like, it will be a significant disappointment. That being said, if they don't necessarily get things going offensively, I could see maybe something happening with one of the 2 hitting coaches. The main one is Van Scoyoc, so I guess maybe it would be him type thing. But I agree, like, it's a stretch.
It feels like Dave is the type of manager that would stick his neck out for all of the assistants that have been with him, and might have the sway to be able to be like, yo, none of these guys are going anywhere, or basically over my dead body. So some people might be excited to hear that, but it just feels like that would be scapegoating somebody that maybe doesn't fully deserve it.
Yeah, perhaps.
Ederica, which Dodger offense are we going to see in October? The one that doesn't score, or the one that scores 5 and still loses? Which one you got, Matt?
Which one would be more frustrating? I mean, like,
not scoring would for sure be we wouldn't blame the offense if they scored 5 and still lost.
So that one's more frustrating, but heartbreaking would probably be like, oh, look, they're finally scoring. Like, all of a sudden they start averaging, 8 runs a game, and then the pitching lets them down completely, right? Like, whether it's the starters or
the heartbreaking is the starting pitching, because that's the one thing I feel like all of us are like, hey, we feel pretty good about that. So if that comes back to bite us, I think that would be the most gutting version of this.
Yeah. Let's see. So which one are we going to see? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not necessarily, neither of these.
The offense is back, baby.
Yeah, you'll see a competent enough offense, I think, in October.
TQT, which is more frustrating? Conforto's lack of offense and lack of benching, or Teo's lack of effort and atrocious defense? You know my answer to this question. So, and we know Dave Roberts' answer to this question. Matt, which of these 2 is more offensive to you?
I think it's the Teoscar, because you went into the season, regardless of, go back to, the offseason opening day type thing. You expected more out of Teoscar Hernandez than you were Michael Conforto. Like, at least I did. Like, I remember, like, when the Dodgers signed Conforto, being like, I don't really get this, but whatever. It's only a 1-year deal. How bad could it be? Maybe those were, famous last words. But I do think it's the Teoscar, because effort you can control more so than, hey, like, you nerd guys love the exit velocity, and maybe you just line out to, the shortstop every single time or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's the effort angle.
Norm wants to know, do you believe the Dodgers are kicking the can down the road with Sasaki, who they know needs surgery? If he needed surgery, they'd have him get it now. There's literally no benefit to kicking that can down the road. So if they thought he needed surgery, I'm pretty confident he would have gotten it by now. My take.
Yeah, probably, because I don't see, like, that would be an easy answer as to why, an explanation as to why he's not going to factor into their plans this year. Whereas right now, I feel like they're trying to dance around it there is still a month left to play, and things unfortunately can happen. And so what if, you end up needing Sasaki in your rotation for some reason? Like, you don't want to completely tell the guy, like, yeah, we're looking ahead to next year already. And then, go back 2 weeks later and say, well, actually, start ramping up.
Francisco with the super chat. We appreciate it, Francisco. Doc said he wanted to see a certain intensity to hopefully get us to the 2 seed. Guess the bullpen didn't get that memo. It did suck to see Edgardo Enriquez be so bad because he had been so good prior to this, had not allowed a run in like 11 innings or something like that. He walks the first 2 batters and it comes back around. But again, I'm the optimist. Some people love that about me. Some people hate that about me on nights like tonight. I think more people hate it. But I look and I'm like, Treinen, I mean, he kind of hangs a 2-strike slider that gets banged into left field for a 2-run, or I think scores 2 runs. But then it's like Kirby Yates stinks, and I don't think he's going to be in the mix. So I don't know. Like, the bullpen wasn't good, but it felt like Enriquez has been good. Yates has always been bad. I don't know what to make of it.
I mean, it was just a bad night for them. Like, bad nights happen in the course of a long season. The Dodgers have just had more of them than we are accustomed to. And given, their place in the standings and all that stuff, like everything is getting more magnified right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Noah wants to know, who's your dream offseason pickup? He says Byron Buxton for me.
I mean,
it has to be Kyle Tucker here, right?
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, obviously, like, Kyle Tucker's the big name, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking this up. Framber Valdez, starting pitcher for the Astros, although the Dodgers seem to have a lot of, I mean, come on. Your guy, well, he might be picking up his $25 million option, but do you want to say Bellinger here?
Bring Belly home.
It's a lot of I mean, Schwarber. Do you want to see a bad corner outfielder some more? Could just get Schwarber in town?
Well, then the Dodgers would have an MVP winner and the person that's going to finish in second place. And who those two are, I'll let the chat decide. But you could have top 2 MVP finishers on the same team next year.
The name I'll throw out is a guy that we've talked about a number of times on here, who is not having a great season and who is no longer as necessary of a positional need. But Bo Bichette, just saying, it's not an anti-Mookie at shortstop thing, but Bo Bichette, I think there's something inside that they could get to with Bo Bichette. We'll say that. Let's see. I think we had okay, one more baseball question. Is the bullpen a massive concern going forward? Who can you trust at this point? I stand by if you just take away the names and you just say, I have amnesia. I don't remember how good Tanner Scott was last year. I don't remember how good Kirby Yates was last year. I didn't realize that Jack Dreyer is a rookie. If I just forget all those things, I think there's like 5 or 6 guys I'm going to feel good about in the postseason, Matt. It's not going to be the guys you expect, but I think there's 5 or 6 guys I like.
I think for me, it's 4 or 5. I'm probably maxing out at 5 right now.
Okay. So that's Treinen,
yeah.
Vesia.
Okay.
Do you like Dreyer?
Sure.
Kopech?
He can get there. He's not there. We just haven't seen enough of him is my concern.
Brock Stewart?
I don't know if he's going to be back.
Tanner Scott?
Not at this trajectory, no.
Yeah. I mean, Kasparius, Robleski, Bonda, any of those guys?
Kasparius, and then Sheehan.
Okay. So I mean, there we go.
I think that brings me to 5. Yeah.
And Enriquez, like, I mean, who knows? Kyle Hurt, just keep a name. Everyone's like, just say the stuff, as Bruce would say, the stuff is there. Whether he puts it together remains to be seen. But he was he starting for OKC tonight?
No, Sasaki started.
That's right.
He was just starting his rehab assignment. Yeah,
he's starting. Got it.
I mean, he technically could have started as like an opener, but he's not going to be pitching probably more than 2 innings per appearance type thing, is what he said.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So I wonder. I mean, I'm trying to look this up on the fly, but so then would he have pitched tonight?
That it seemed like it was starting tonight. That was the plan, but I mean, if depending on how the game was going, I don't know if there's okay.
1 inning, maybe a home run, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk by Kyle Hurt. No home runs allowed. So a hit and a walk, 1 earned run for Kyle Hurt, no strikeouts. Was the final line for him. So there you go. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we've got some non-baseball stuff. So we'll close with this. And we got
Manual. Make sure you're paying attention. Yeah. This is the moment you've been waiting for.
Matt, do you have any? All of you wants to know if you have any thoughts on the self-proclaimed King Nike commercial. This is LeBron, right? I'm not in tune with this, but LeBron's got some Nike stuff.
Yeah, Nike put out a new LeBron ad talking about his career, this, that, and the other, and it alluded to the King, obviously his nickname and all that. My biggest issue, honestly, that I took with it is it says he eliminated or conquered all rivals or something, and that's just factually inaccurate. And I'm a big Nike fan. I'm a Laker fan.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at those two. So there's a glaring omission in my eyes as to a rival that LeBron never quite conquered, or however they worded it.
Okay. LTTE Beaches, chicken or steak?
I mean, steak. Come on.
Yeah.
Look, Blake's not on the screen. He's in the chat. Blake's not on the screen.
Or Bruce. You remember when Bruce froze and said ground beef as his preferred taco choice? Crazy.
Right.
One of the craziest moments. Padmeep wants to know, is there a dream froyo / soft serve swirl combination?
Not for me. I mean, I
just give me straight Dole Whip. I don't need a half mix of anything. Dole Whip is unbelievable. You're anti Dole Whip?
Yeah, I'm skipping all that and just going to Jamocha Almond Fudge from Baskin Robbins.
Okay, well, that wasn't the question, Cole says, if you don't cut a quesadilla in half, does that make it a giant cheese taco? Cut it in half. Somebody picks up the whole quesadilla folded in half, no cuts? Is that what we're talking about here?
I guess. No, it's still a quesadilla to me.
Okay. Have you ever had, I'm going to butcher the name here, burrata is the name of the cheese? It's like burrata? A mozzarella cheese with some stuff in the middle. Have you ever had it?
Yes.
Oh, so I had some tonight. Grocery store, threw it over some sliced bread, a little tomato, olive oil, and salt on top, Matthew.
Yeah, it's good.
Amazing. MK, great question. Which is better, a 10 out of 10 burrito or a 10 out of 10 burger?
Ooh. I like burgers more, but I think getting a perfect burrito is harder. So when you find one and get one, that's oh man, this is a very good burrito.
I think it's pretty hard to screw up a burger. I think the gap between an average burger and the greatest burger I've ever had is not as large as the gap between the greatest burrito I've ever had and an average burrito. So there you go. Okay, we'll end with, do you got any kettle chip rankings for me? I had honey Dijon, jalapeno, and then the salt and pepper were my 3 choices.
I haven't had the honey Dijon one, so I can't comment on that. I've had a jalapeno kettle chip. Those are good. I've done salt and vinegar. I don't know if
my wife loves that crap.
Salt and pepper isn't sticking out, but I would enjoy those, I think. Okay. I'm not a kettle chip. I don't have unfortunately, I don't have a power ranking for you or anything.
What about condiments? You got a top 3 condiments?
Yeah, but what was the qualifier? I caught that with you and Bruce. I forget, what did you get? Is ranch is a condiment, right?
Yeah. Somebody, here we go. What's considered a condiment?
Or was ketchup?
Because it said a seasoning or spice added to food, but we basically limited it to sauces of some sort.
Okay,
it's got to be liquid.
Ranch is at the top of the list for me.
Yeah, great answer. You and I have never agreed more.
How many am I doing? 3.
3.
Blue cheese is definitely on there. I'm not sure if it's second. So it's second or third. I like the Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay, nice.
So that one's on that one. I'll do that one second, and then blue cheese third. Although the Chick-fil-A one is limited to eating Chick-fil-A, whereas ranch and blue cheese, I could put it on a whole assortment of foods.
I love it. I love it. I had ranch.
Somebody's saying Caesar dressing.
Ranch and fry sauce were 2 of my 3.
Yeah, I'm not huge on fry sauce.
Love it. Or In-N-Out spread. You could give me that too. Either of those I think would be good. I can't even remember what the third one said. And Cole, by the way, correct answer here. He said, who has the best ranch? Red Robin. It's a great answer. Red Robin, absolutely top tier ranch.
Yeah, it is good. Islands has good ranch too.
Oh, okay. Again, the greatest mystery the world has ever been unable to solve is why they don't sell any good ranch at grocery stores. Daniel told me about some Trader Joe's stuff, and it's like,
right.
fine. Like, it's maybe better than the rest of it, but literally the gap between Red Robin Ranch and anything they will sell me at the grocery store is the largest. It's Grand Canyon sized.
Yeah, I will say I brought it up. Bob's Big Boy, like they make their bottled ranch was good, but then my wife bought one recently, and I think it said like Country Ranch on it. So I don't know if it was a different one, but either it's changed or the one we got was just different because they were sold out of regular, but it was not good. But if you do see
Bob's
just
Blue
normal,
Cheese.
yeah, it's equivalent. Like Bob's Blue Cheese is really good. Their ranch was also like I found that to be the best one.
A couple more. I mean, Red Robin, the undisputed champ of burgers, in and out of close
geez.
seconds. Crazy. That's crazy. And I love Red Robin and I love In and Out. Adam says, tell Dodger Stadium to bring back real Dodger dogs. You got to vote in Matt there. Big Dodger dog guy over there. Lucas says, Five Guy burgers are pretty damn good, Jeff, but a value there will run you almost $30. Agreed. Love Five Guys. Red Robin is, I think, cheaper than Five Guys. So that's crazy when you think about that. So, all right, folks. Oh, is Manuel here? Somebody said, Manuel, are you a chip guy? It's amazing. He is here. Manuel's in the house. Manuel, perfect timing. Just in time for food. So we appreciate you. Everybody, that's going to do it for us tonight on Dodger Heads. Thank you to everybody for hopping in. Unfortunate loss for the Dodgers, but they're back at it tomorrow. That is Matthew Moreno. I am Jeff Spiegel. Folks, enjoy the rest of your night. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, even on nights like tonight where it's easy to forget, do not forget, people, still freaking champs.